at this, huh? Good evening, everyone. It's time to talk about things and or stuff. Primarily stuff. I think it's going to be a stuff kind of cast. We're going to talk
Yeah, I
about...
think that
Yeah.
stuff is fun because not only does stuff happen, stuff's fun.
I mean, so all I want to do is have a glass of wine, chill out with my friends.
And I'll drink a Moscow Mule.
So things happen. I am... I love... you know what? I'm going straight to the wall on this. Brian left me sleeping in the back room at his work and went home without saying anything. He was just trying to respect your sleep, man.
Dude, I was in a meeting and then I went in the back room and then it was like, oh, it's time for Brian to go. I didn't even know he was there. He went and sat in the games room and just fell asleep for 2 hours. Had no clue.
You're like the second person that's actually said this. He goes, he wants to play a list with unholy stuff. What do I want to play? A list with 2K points, list with a Harridan. So I can make you a list and then you just basically take out, 600 points for the Harridan. The problem is the Harridan's so bad.
The Harridan is not good. I've told you about my fun list, right? For my ringer list.
Mhm.
And it's 100% the the Hierophant Biotitan, 3 of the Norn emissaries, and then just like whatever HQ fits in. And she'd be like, and here's a list.
Ooh, let me tell you about the list that I've been excited about though, and I want to test it out more. So, a unit of Neuro Tyrant with a unit of Zoes, Old One Eye with 2 Carnifexes.
Invasion, I assume.
It literally can be anything, to be honest with you. It's mainly to make this fit. So, Hive Tyrant, and then I've got 3 Lictors, 5 units of 10 Gargoyles, so 50 Gargoyles, 3 Exocrines, Biovore, and why am I spacing on what else I have in here? But like that's the gist of it. You know what I mean? Some good guns, 2 units that put down heavy fire. Also, the Carnifexes have 1 pew pew gun, so 12 shots apiece, and then the Crushing Claws. Because with full rerolls, man, Crushing Claws with old One Eye leading them will just put down any big thing.
I mean, they're not bad. I mean, I wouldn't be super excited about playing that list. I think 50 Gargoyles is a tad bit excessive.
I was talking to Monica about it. He's just like, he was like, this is a lot of trash even for you. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
but no problem can't be solved with Gargoyles.
Gargoyles are good, but I think there's better you can experience with that. But I know you, and I would love to see you run, even with Unending Swarm getting the minor nerf that it got. I would love to see you run that with just 8 billion guys. I just think you would pass out dead after 2 rounds.
Probably, for sure.
Yeah.
With the Harridan, I would play what I just said. What do I have to take out to get 600 points in there, though? Probably Old One Eye and the boys. Yeah. Old One Eye and the boys, and a couple hundred points. But I play something like that. I take out 2 units of Gargoyles. 3 units of Gargoyles is probably the perfect amount, at least for me. A lot of people play with 2, but I like 3 quite a bit. So, and the thing is that, well, it's just when you bring a big ass model, when you're looking for rule of cool, you want to play your big thing, your big Titan, your big Knight, your big whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
Does the Harridan have Vanguard? I've actually not ran.
Oh, that one I do not know.
That's what the Warhammer app is for, my friend.
That's what I'm talking about. So, but like when you're playing that, you have to increase the trash basically. So you're already going to have your big thing, so you have to bring trash with it. 100%. Oh, 1,000% monsters need to be able to tank shock. It's so stupid that they can't.
No, he does not have the Vanguard Invader, so therefore you can't just have extra shenanigans with him. but it would have been fun.
Lyle, I want you to know that if you don't bring the BA, I will 100% not play and or just do shots contests with my opponents, which they might just be happy. I'll title my experience "Free Win versus Brad" as long as you can drink more than me.
So I get an immediate win versus Brad.
I would immediately concede because I don't want to die again. So, Jesus, we've drank a bunch of times. Only the one time was I like, I will drink whatever you drink, and then I just was somewhere else. Then I was in pajamas and got kidnapped. That's all I know. And I woke up and I only had your pants, so things weren't great for me there.
I thought it was rather funny, personally.
When I had to come out in front of the hotel going, I need your room key.
So, Brad, if we put together an Imperial Agents army for you, and it's feasible, because I think there should be a feasible build out of that list, would you play it playing all humans?
Yeah. The thing is I'll come to Du Bois again, and as usual, I'll just let you choose whatever the hell I play as long as you provide it.
All right, that's fair.
I actually really enjoy showing up not knowing when I'm going to play.
It is quite fun. Making you play the Toxicrin the one year was absolutely hilarious.
God. It was fun because it was super fun to play, but it was so ridiculously hard to play it. It's so ungainly. If anybody hasn't seen the Toxicrin model, it is 8-9 inches wide.
Oh yeah, it's all tentacles.
Yeah, it's just tentacles.
It is the hentai model. It is really the hentai model.
It is bananas weird. Imperial Agents book, how many super chat? To a different tournament, a lot. To Du Bois, just convince Brian that that's the thing he wants to see happen.
So therefore, Steve, I've got all the models for it upstairs. We really just have to build and paint it.
Old One Eye is the honey badger of 40K. You know what? I love Old One Eye because he's got some of the best lore out of the Tyranids. Because I just love the fact that he took a melt-a-gun to the face and it's just like, I'm not even going to regen this. I'm just going to walk around with it.
My favorite is that he just falls in the ice and freezes, and then goes, "I'm tired of playing here. I'm going to come up through the ice and kill things."
Yep. Oh, what the hell? It's the same weekend as the Warhammer Worlds Champ.
Yep.
Why?
Because Games Workshop hates me. The same thing happened last year.
I did choose to go to you last year.
I know you did, and I appreciated that. If you don't come this year, I will also understand.
Last year, I had a shit ton of golden tickets that I used 0 of. Also, I didn't know that you could give them away. You know what I mean? So apparently, I just threw a couple golden tickets in the trash. My bad, everyone from last year. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't do it on purpose. As usual, I was just ignorant to the truth.
But if you want to play a list with the Harridan, you can kind of go just super aggressive. Like, I would almost run Vanguard and do like the 30 Gene Stealers, the 3 Broodlords, and all the fun stuff, and just kind of ignore a couple of the
just don't things. To be honest with you, just don't shoot at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take out the other big shit. Because if you were either running double Moloch or double Exocrine, you take that off and you're halfway there. Yep. You know what I mean? You'd still have to cut like a decent amount of other shit, but like you could run that. I mean, the Harridan looks badass.
You're probably cutting a couple of the big HQs, right? The Flying Hive Tyrant, Old One Eye, or a similar type point cost thing. But you can get it in there.
I just wish it had more guns.
Yeah, I wish it had more better guns.
It's so gigantic looking. I just feel like it should be more badass. I mean, I'm not even talking about the point cost. Just the size of the model makes me think it's going to be more badass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fucking huge. What's the biggest playable model? Because like don't tell me the Manta, because the Manta doesn't fit, in an actual 2,000 point game.
The biggest playable model is Magnus count, because that's probably the biggest playable model.
I mean, the Harridan's bigger than Magnus.
Yeah, but he's not playable. You said playable.
Oh no! I mean like legal, like to play.
Oh, legal? the original freaking demons were massive.
Yeah, like what can you actually play? I don't even know what the Marauder Destroyer is. That's a tank.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Marauder, the Marauder Destroyer. Although I honestly think that Steve played one against me once, and it was quite an entertaining game. But it was just a narrative thing. But it is huge, and it is the gigantic guard flyer that doesn't do anything. But
oh yeah, yeah. I have
I
a picture of that actually. I looked it up. That thing. Talk about points for no guns. That thing has nothing. It's just a dude leaning out the window. Pew pew. It's just like that's it. Is the Hierophant bigger than the Tesseract Vault?
the Hierophant is definitely bigger than a Tesseract Vault.
Mastodon's huge for a flyer. That thing is.
He's on mine's on a 12-inch oval base. He just doesn't fit on anything else. He's so big.
Well, is it a Warhound's still legal, right?
Yep. Warhound's pretty big.
Yeah, Warhound's...
The Mastodon is not legal, but man, that thing weighs as much as any of the other models.
The Josh Setzik do to a bunch of tournaments. Oh God. Stuff and things. I'm assuming he fired 16, but
possibly 32.
Yeah.
The Warhound should only cost 1,000 points. That way, one person can take it to a doubles tournament just for fun.
I would like to see Thunderhawks be played, but I like to see them have different rules. Because obviously, I just got done doing the lore cast today, so I'm full lore mode right now. But like the Thunderhawks straight up deploy Marines, and then they just go beat the shit out of people. But it has all kinds of shit that they do. They lay down like a huge suppressing fire and stuff like that. I don't know. I'd like to see more assault vehicles.
I think that's one thing 40K is like. One of the things I don't like about the game right now is a lot of the vehicles that should be assault vehicles just aren't.
Yeah.
Like I think the Impulsor should be an assault vehicle.
For sure. So.
I think, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that should be assault vehicles because the lore is so much that.
2 Tervigons, a Harridan, 2 Lictors, Exocrine, 2 times 10 Gargoyle, 5 times 20 Tervigons, Neurolictor, Biovore.
That seems fun.
I mean, yeah. Revenant's almost 2 feet tall for 1,100 points. That's most of me. I can just dress up like a Revenant. Remember when you used to be able to put the Revenant on the Sky Shield landing pad? So it got a 4-up invuln and then a 4-up displacement field or whatever the hell it was. So.
I will go with the funniest thing I saw with the Sky Shield landing pad. Devin Swan from Team Canada played in a Horus Heresy event at Adepticon with his buddy, and they put a Warhound Titan on it, and then filled the Sky Shield landing pads with just generic Marines and went, haha, you can't get to us.
Blake brought a Warhound Titan to that Arkansas tournament I talked about. It was funny because he played, and he's like, I think the Warhound Titan's going to do well. And then he was... Well, I got about half the tournament pretty deep into the sheets of drunk. And then Blake said game 3 on day 1. He goes, Brad, this Warhound Titan is not good, man. He just paused so long on it. He shattered me with it. He was just like, Brad, it's just not good. I'm like, I'm well aware, man. It costs 1 million points, and it has very few guns.
There was the one year at the boys that we had 2 people running Warhounds when they were 2,000 points. And the one guy did have, as Zuber said, a My Little Pony balloon tied to it as he was playing it on the tabletop.
This is fantastic. Oh, dude. I have to give 2 lists I have to give props to from ATC. 1, Certified Wrinkle Free brought Triple Vault. And I named that list Humongous Dong. And then Jeremy Stan brought Canis Rex and only Custodes Dreadnoughts, which I labeled Huge Dong. And that's actually in our matrix. We played them round 1, and I go, Jeremy, come over here. And I go, look at our matrix. And it's just, blah, 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 CSN, this and that. And it just goes Huge Dong Custodes. He just starts, I'm like, yep, that's your list. I'm like, you're a madman. He also went undefeated with that.
That's great.
You cannot play 3 vaults. I already. So the best part is we're talking. I'm talking to Crowley, and I'm like, okay, guys, the next team tournament, I just don't want as many skew lists, and it really felt bad when I had to pair it. It just filled me full of stress because we had so many. Hey, I hope you go first. You know, kind of the matches because we bought too much skew. And Crawley goes, but you were the person that said we should take 3 skews. If we're going to take skew, we need to take at least 3 because you're going to defend with 1 and then try to attack with 2. And I look at him and gave him the, I've been wrong and I'll be wrong again. I don't want to do that anymore. Clearly, I've learned my lesson. That was a stupid idea. Yeah, it was my idea and it was dumb. So we're not doing that again.
Lyle, I'm going to assume on Monday we're going to talk about WTC.
Yeah, when we do competitive, we're going to do WTC.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, the week after that on Monday, we'll be talking about, Salt City.
Yes, we will. 30 World Leader Terminators from Australia.
That is a fantastic idea. I like the idea of it.
Fucking Hunter. 8 skew lists. No one will expect it.
Telling you, if you run 8 horde lists, you can pull it off.
You can do horde. You can't do big guy shit. Too many big guy lists are too coin flippy and what happens and shit like that. It's just too much for me. It's too hard. As the guy that does the pairings, it's just too difficult to go, hey, what are you going to get? You're like, probably a 0 or a 20. I don't know. Who cares? You're like, fuck this. This is not what I signed up for.
Brad, I'm fully convinced at some point we have to play go to a teams event with we didn't come to win, and I want to convince every person to do shuffle up and deal pairings.
Oh, dude. So I'm already, we're going to get you, I was going to ask you this off, but fuck it. I want to get a team together that's just team fuck around and find out, but like not in a find out, like as in let's fight, like fuck around as in like, no, really, we're going to fuck around and we're going to drink. Because Alan said he wants to go and do some hangout tournaments, and I talked to Barsati today about that. After doing the Lorecast, I'm like, I want to get just a team of just people that give no shits whether we finish the tournament or not. You're like, we might be late for the next round. Whatever. we'll show up late, give them a free win, and then play our game afterwards.
Yeah.
So. That's what I'm going to go to. Now, that being said, we are stress testing immediately after the stream for the Champs Cup. So I go to tournaments with 2 things in mind: either all in it to win it, or I would enjoy drinking while moving toy soldiers around. And I don't know which I like more. It's 100% drinking and moving toy soldiers around.
I was going to say it's drinking and moving toy soldiers.
It's not even close.
So I was talking with a place that has space for like 20-ish tables, and they were like, yeah, we wouldn't charge you for the space as long as you did food and bar. And I was like, oh, well, I was like, with 40 people here to do food and bar with open bar for like 9 hours, how much would it be? And they were like, well, what do you mean by open bar? I'm like, well, what's ever back there, you just open up and people buy it. And they were like, oh, that's going to take a while to figure out. And I'm like, okay. Because I was just thinking that we could possibly have a very good time with that.
Yes. I will abuse your open bar. I will ruin you. Bring your open bar to me, you fool. You didn't know I was coming?
It's like, he was like, oh, well, it's like, I think he said, like, if you do 8 hours of just beer and wine and soda, it was like, I think he said like $60 for the 8-hour period. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh,
I would have thrown the money at him immediately.
I thought about it for a minute and I was like, but I drink a lot of whiskey. That makes it more expensive.
Yeah. I was just like, that is so cheap on that. The thing is like, people don't get an open bar, you know what I mean? The amount you bring. Anybody that runs events, I know it's hard to negotiate with your convention halls and your hotels and stuff like that, but god damn, you have to make food and beverages. Everybody's expecting to pay hotel rates. What I don't want is rates that are so high that I have to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? I'm willing for you to charge to extort me. I'm not willing for you to flat out rob me. You know what I mean?
Yep,
It's just
that's one of the tough parts. Like that's one of the things negotiating with the hotels. Like I wanted a $15 burger, fries, beer thing because $15 is reasonable for that combo. And they're like, "Oh, we should be able to do that and possibly cheaper." And I was like, "Great!" So hopefully, when I meet with them tomorrow for the finalized menu and stuff, we'll have all that figured out, which I'm looking forward to.
it just I don't get those places, and obviously I don't see their numbers, but like I just can't imagine because Sparks used to like literally get into epic wars with the Adepticon people, and he just goes, man, if you would bring your prices down 25 to 30%, you would double or triple what you bring in. You know what I mean? People
Yep.
do not want to go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's a hassle for people to leave, get in the party, I'll do all their thing. You just priced yourself out of, people wanting to stay though.
Went to one tournament a few years ago where they brought in food trucks and they were just normal everyday food trucks, nothing special, no special menu. And the food trucks were there for like 3 hours. It was crazy how big like no one went anywhere but those food trucks. No one left to go to Burger King or anything like that. Just like oh, food truck, easy, simple, boom, done.
That's what I miss about Nova specifically. When they moved to the new place, they didn't have the food trucks out front. And I love those food trucks because it was super convenient. Just if you make things expensive but convenient, but not wildly expensive, you know what I mean? Everybody will go to their lazy gamer nature and not go anywhere.
Yep.
I did like Matt, for 100%, the last MCM hotel, Tom and Pete did a great job with the negotiations there.
Yep.
The drinks were fine, you know what I mean? And the room rates are decent.
That's why I always tell people if you're a would-be TO, right, and you want to do something at the lowest expense you can do, talk to your local VFWs, Moose Lodges, Mason Halls, things like that to try and get in there to get yourself a foothold to get going.
VFW halls are the boss. Shout out to Gary Frank with the Armed Forces. The VFW hall rates are so cheap that I had to go back and ask them, is this my tab? Because I didn't want to take advantage of them. You know what I mean? They're like, no, it's a nickel to drink all night. I was just like, whew. Yeah, exactly, Matt. It's fantastic. Mike, 100% food trucks are the way to go, man. You know what I mean? I firmly believe that. They're convenient. I'm also like really big on I'm a psycho because I own restaurants and shit that I like to support the locals. So I love to do food trucks and things like that. There's just people that are fucking busting their ass trying to, make a dime. And they're usually feeding you food that's fairly priced, you know what I mean? Again, I don't need it to be cheap. I just need it to not be bananas.
That's why I keep looking. Like one of the big things I like with doing events is I like to have a hotel attached, but in my area that's becoming harder because a lot of the larger hotels have kind of closed down. But there's the New York State Fairgrounds here, and as Salt City does keep growing at a good pace, might have to get a little bit bigger of a venue next year to have enough space to encompass everybody. And because we've got asked to add Star Wars Legion and Bolt Action and a lot of the other game systems that are ancillary that there's not support for in upstate New York anywhere. And it just doesn't happen, and people would love to see it. So like I was looking at the fairgrounds for next year because I got to start planning now to do next year. And the entire thing with them was I was like, oh yeah, if I wanted to bring food trucks in, they were like, we don't care. We charge the food trucks a flat rate for renting space. And I went, oh, so it doesn't cost me anything. Good enough. So gonna try. But the hotel attached to the venue is a big thing. If we're at the fairground, I've already talked with a hotel that has a fantastic shuttle service, which is really nice.
That's a big deal on that. Just being convenient on that. You know what I mean? I do like. Mike says it right. Because the hotels with venues attached is convenient, but often limited to what you can negotiate. And it is tough because, man,
Yep.
especially as someone that has the occasional issue, being able to go directly to my room between rounds and shit. You know what I mean? Take some drugs, take a shower, fucking take shit, do what you know what I mean. Just get my shit. Basically, get my mojo back together. Is a big deal, and it's very convenient on that. But man,
Which is why I give FLG a lot of credit for like the stuff they've pulled off to grow as large as they have. And to have, the partners that they have with the casinos is clutch, because that allows them to do a lot of different things with the venue. I mean, granted, I'm not a huge fan of uh, Las Vegas prices or Atlantic City prices on drinks and food, but it's really nice to have that big space to be able to do all that stuff.
You're the boss, Mo. Oh, I got a fucking thing for you, Mike. Tell choke out Kickern and then choke out Reese right afterwards. Get me back on the goddamn strip. If I'm paying Vegas rates, I'm gonna be on the strip. Period. God damn it. That being said, I'll show up at Rio again. So.
But at least they're renovating Rio now, which is, a good thing.
It was a good thing. It's just like there's something to be said about just the excitement of the strip and just the options. You know what I mean? You might not do shit about shit, but just having an option just makes you feel a little bit better, man.
Yeah, Machine, I've been talking with Turning Stone as well. They're really tough to do stuff with. They are.
Dude, you know what I want for Salt City? Just more banners. You know, the other game systems have badass banners all over the place, and it felt like 40K didn't get enough. And I don't know if that's yourself, if that's the game runners, you know what I mean? But like, they just cool banners give you some mojo. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it does on that. You know, I'm gonna give Corrales props on this. So when I went out to the Cali Cup in San Diego, and they literally held the event in like a dance studio deal, but like lined the walls with the mirrors with a banner from each faction. And then when they gave out awards for best faction, you got that banner. And I thought that was a nifty thing that I hadn't seen done. And I like to give props to anybody that does something, new or cool, whatever. And the thing is that I loved his tournament because he had a really nice vibe. He played music and shit. And I wanted people to know this. I would prefer your layout, not layout, but game layout, whatever the fuck, the schedule. Jesus, English isn't my first language apparently, but being able to start at a normal time and stop at a good time so that we can go out if we want to go out, hang out if we want to hang out, because the tournament is not about the tournament. The tournament is about the social interaction and hanging out. And I love the fact that we got to do all those things because you're not running, a million games a day. That schedule is fantastic.
Well, that's why, like, a lot of people ask me why I decided to go to 7 rounds for Salt City when I started doing this, and I was like, well, the entire reason for doing it was so people could have Saturday night to hang out with the people that they don't get to hang out with a ton. By doing 3 on Friday, which 3 on Friday is a good day, you still get done by normally 8:30. You hang out for a while, and then you got Saturday, and then Saturday night just turns into everyone can go grab a bite and then hang out for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and enjoy each other's company, which is fantastic, which is half the reason we all do this.
And we've been talking, and I talked to JD from Away Games, and we were talking about the team tournaments and tournaments coming up and stuff like that. And we were talking about, things that are coming up in the future. And he was asking me, and I'd like to ask everybody this in the chat, and yourself, Ryan, because we were talking about, would you be willing to show up a day early so we could do a 2-2-1 or a 2-2-2, for teams and stuff like that, instead of running, a 3-2 or a 3-3.
The thing I can always say is running a 3-day event is, if you're looking at your cost, you're adding a third more to your cost, because hotels don't cut you deals on a Friday, right? They don't. If they charge, we're just going to use this as an example, $4,000 a day, which is what a lot of these rooms are. That's $4 more grand. You have to figure out how to make that up. Now, the way you do that is you have to put it into an added cost of the ticket, which does put some people off.
I get that, but like,
you have to cut prize support and other things and kind of shoestring budget it. It's a tough line to walk. But once your event gets known for having that fun, good vibe, if you look at stuff like Du Bois and Salt City, we have a good vibe. That's part of what myself, Zuber, and the crew bring, is we try to have a great time. And you know what? it is $20 or $25 more for Salt City than some of the other events that are 2-day events.
But I just want
But you
to.
get so much more.
I don't know. I would rather pay the cost and do it. One plus the finals on Monday is actually an English thing right now. They're pretty crazy about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They have a hard time doing 3-day events out there, so they've run some seriously big events and run them as Saturday Sunday events with the finals on Monday. Because multiple people, like, I don't know, Mike Porter, for instance, who's a teacher, has literally left the top 8 multiple times to just go, cool, thanks for letting me be in the top 8. I'm going to go to work. See you later. I'm on a train. Get out of here.
Yeah. I still, Frosty, I completely agree with that. The holiday weekend, the 3-day holiday weekends are good, but it's tough for a lot of people because you do a lot of family things on those weekends.
Yeah, I think you could do some stuff. I don't know. Like, I enjoy the Monday. As somebody that came from food service, I always think of the Monday holidays as like, get back to work. I think we could do those tournaments 3 days going on Monday. I think it'd be really fun to have, like, you know what I mean, have your, you know, and do a Saturday, Sunday, Monday on the Monday weekends. I don't know if anybody's really tried that very much, to be honest with you.
It's something to look into. I mean, you never know. Depends on your venues, as I will continually say. It depends on your venues, depends on your area.
How would you be? Have you ever looked into that at all?
We talked about doing it with the boys one year because of like the Veterans Day weekend is a 3-day weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it didn't save any money on the hotel. And a lot of people, from feedback from sending out surveys, were like, no, we like getting out Sunday night and then having Monday at home to recover. So
I can see. There is cheaper flights back if I could fly. Like, a lot of times I fly on a Monday after a big tournament weekend because the flights on Monday are just so much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And it is tough to get a Sunday flight late enough where you're just not. I like flying back on Sunday after a tournament if I can get a really late event. Like, Vegas is great for that because, you know, there's flights, you know, every single hour kind of thing. But, like, it's nice if you get a late one. But, man, I can tell you the amount of tournaments where it feels stressful, where you're like, I guess I'm not staying for, you know, the awards because I got to make the fucking airport. And, of course, I get to the airport, you know, earlier than all of you people do because I'm an old man. So I gotta be at the airport 100 hours early. So, but also I don't want to miss the Cracker Barrel in the morning either. So I just, you know, I don't know, maybe my tournament experience or my best tournament experience is different because I'm going to hang out more than I'm going to play. You know what I mean? And it's not saying that I'm trying to lose games or, you know, not trying to win, but I want to go somewhere so that I can get the maximum amount of hanging out. Like, obviously I raved about last Salt City to you like so many times because one of my favorite days again was Saturday when you're like, hey, what'd you guys do on Saturday? And the answer was nothing. And it was fucking awesome. We just hung out. We sat with a giant group of us and we just had some drinks, listened to shit, hung out, told stories. You're like, did anything relevant happen? Not really. It was just a really good time and I really enjoyed myself. And that's what I want every time I come back from a tournament is what kind of cool, fun thing did you do? Like the ATC, we won ATC. You know what I remember at ATC? Karaokeing at 4 a.m. at the Airbnb when this is a true story of how it happened too. Eloise goes, it was 11:30ish, and she goes, hey, let's get one more drink and we'll call it a night. You know, we got to play a long day tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, you're right, Eloise. And then Daniel from Sweden played random song and all of us together just decided we were going to sing that at the top of our lungs. And then we were going to sing every song at the top of our lungs. And then several of the hours later, I was like, oh yeah, half of our Airbnb went to bed. My bad, guys. Also, let's sing another song.
Well, it's like in last year at Du Bois, Zuber and a couple of the guys had this brilliant idea to order trays of wings from somewhere. And we sat from 8 o'clock at night on Saturday until some ungodly hour in the morning, eating chicken wings, having drinks, and telling stories.
Oh, fuck. Dude, I love everything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We should like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton. Give me a positive comment. Hey, the more comments you get, the more my stuff gets put out there. I have no idea why. YouTube analytics is effectively witchcraft to me. I mean, the internet itself is witchcraft to me, especially analytics is witchcraft to me. Matt Monick, he goes, I was trying to sleep. My bad, bro. Should have came down and sang with us. I did tell Monick if he didn't win his last round, he was only allowed to do narrative events from now on.
I think he would have a lot of fun at narrative events personally.
No, he would get thrown out.
I don't know, in about 30 seconds.
He is wildly too hardcore for a narrative event. They'd be like, you gotta leave, sir. Also, no one's enjoying the fact that you're beating people so bad you knock the paint off their models. You won 100-0. So
the narrative events are good fun. I really wish I could do a grand narrative. I would like to try and travel to one of them.
bro, I want to do narratives so bad, but they're always with the other big tournaments that I'm going to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I used to run at the game room in Toledo. Shout out to Daryl. Way back in the day, this is forever ago. I used to set up giant, just off the cuff kind of games all the time, where we'd be playing, somewhere between 10 and 12 people, and kind of bring what you have kind of shit, 5,000-10,000 points per deal. And I'd constantly make scenarios up so it would balance itself out a lot. And I just love everything about that, bringing, the lore into the game. Because again, that's how I got into the game. I read the lore first. You know what I mean? I didn't get actually playing until the first Open Heart, where I just couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? And I effectively was getting dropped off, and I just went, fine, show me how to play this. And then everybody got excited because they're like, oh, we're gonna beat the shit out of Brad in something he doesn't know how to play. I'm in. And then I took months of getting my head kicked in.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see more narrative tournaments run around the country other than just the ones GW is doing. Adepticon, the two-man teams, kind of has a little bit of that to an extent. It's a little bit from I can't remember the name of the group that does that.
You know what I would get on?
It would. There used to be a guy who I think they called him the Gentleman Gamer or something to that effect.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do narrative events at Adepticon.
Yep. Eloise, thank you. That is my comment. So I definitely on that. Eye of Terror House is amazing.
Thank you, the Longmore.
So here, besides, I'll have people throw this in chat. Besides, obviously, your own event, you know what I mean? What's your favorite event historically to go to? I mean, it could be different now, but historically, what's your favorite thing to play in? Or even your top two, if you can't choose one, you know what I mean?
I think Adepticon Teams was always my favorite to play in because we never cared. It was all about the hobby. We went for hobby aspects. So that would be my choice.
Adepticon Team Tournament's my favorite tournament, hands down. As far as, because of the fact that I'm a snob about that, I love the fact that I told Matt this when they took over, him and the boys took over, and he asked me, well, what makes Adepticon Team Tournament your favorite tournament? And I said, because it encompasses everything that makes 40K. Hobbying, which includes paint and, the modeling and conversions and all that other kind of shit. Theme, comp, and being a good player. And also not being an asshole. You know what I mean? Being a cool dude. You have to do all of those things to win the Adepticon Team Tournament. And I think
I have spent more times at Adepticon drinking with the Tiki Gods when not playing against the Tiki Gods than I can possibly say.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
Shout out. Even though Peter didn't play with them this year, he played with whoever the hell he played with. He played with one of his buddies because a gentleman passed away. But Pete, Jared, Friedman, I mean, those guys are amazing. They're so much fun. I had a good time. I wish more people would play like the boys does, by the way. You put it in there. Brandon put it in there. I do love, and I'm obviously, giving you a little shout out on this, but like I just like the way that things are laid back. You know what I mean? We're playing on. I like. I don't know. I like being when you're being super competitive. I want everything to be the same. Everybody to be on the same playing field. But when I'm going to a tournament to enjoy the tournament, I like to have different terrain, different missions, different everything. And you guys have been known for that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You have to put that out there. And 100% MCM is always a great time. That is one of my favorites. I have done some fantastic funness. None of those were words, I guess, but I've had good times at MCM. Also, here, I'll tell you the story about Scott trying to kill me. So, last MCM, I don't know. Time is meaningless to me. I'm sitting, and and shout out to DK. DK runs a D&D campaign that we just plug in anytime we're in a local GT type thing, and he runs it on Saturday nights. We just jump in for a one-off, and it's super fun. Mm-hmm. But I go to play, and my migraines have been just killing me, and I'm just trying to keep my shit together. And Scott Ferguson comes up, and he goes, "Hey, Brad, do you want an edible?" And I go, "You know what? I do. My head hurts really bad. I'd like to keep playing, blah, blah, blah." And I accidentally grab 2 of his edibles instead of 1, and I throw it in my mouth. I have no tolerance for that. So I'm thinking I'm going to take I don't know why, but in my mind, my head already hurts. I'm migrained up. And I think I'm taking 2 5-milligram edibles. I take 2 of Scott's 100-milligram edibles. And then I leave my body and astrally project out into the universe. And eventually I go, I think I should probably be anywhere but in public right now, because I'm pretty sure I just discovered the meaning of time and space.
There is nothing like Scott handing you an edible, and you go, "Scott, how strong is it?" He goes, "They're not that bad." And then I walk over and split it with the coworker that I was working with at Salt City last year, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, "Ooh, this hit." Scott, how strong were those? They were only 250s.
Exactly. Just, what the fuck, dude? Never. The answer is never take anything from Scott. He's just, and 100%. Brad allowed the migraine to take the wheel and left his body. 1,000%. Du Bois, oh God, I wish, we can never get Du Bois back at the golf course because they plowed the golf course down.
Under.
Fuck them, by the way.
I have been trying to find a venue to get back to that has something in that vein. And the problem is, every time you try to do it, it's like, okay, you can't do it in the summer because they have all the weddings and everything else. That it really is that like late October window is probably where it would have to fall, at least around here, because you're past leaf season, you're before ski season. So you never know. We might be able to pull something off again. Hopefully.
Exactly, Eloise. Clearly Dare didn't teach you to not take candy from strangers. I would come up to Nova Scotia to run a winery, 100% on that. Also,
if we do a tournament at a winery, I'm pretty sure my wife would want to be there for that, because she would just drink us all under the table.
I'll be there with her, trying my best. So, I did blame the body. You 100% did. Eloise left her body also. So, but think about the Du Bois at the golf tournament or golf resort used to be at the top of a mountain. And one of my favorite stories of getting to a tournament was, for whatever reason, every single Du Bois, there's a giant winter storm that literally punches me in the face the entire time. I thought we were dying last year. That happens apparently every year. But my favorite is going up to the resort. The first time we went there, we didn't realize it was at the top of a mountain. So the GPS literally is like, take a left, take a left, take a left, take a left. And we're like, no, you're just fucking with me, Google. This is not how it is. It was so fucking crazy. But I mean, there's only certain tournaments that you can wake up in Ponderosa parking lot with Don't Punch on your hands. You can only fight so many stuffed bears. Britt could only literally get free drinks from the golf people for so long. Like, God, that was insane. The best is Courtney almost murdered someone because I won't even name names, but I thought I was the drunk person at the tournament. And then And then the guy that makes all the terrain watched someone else stage dive one of his tables that he was really proud of. And
that was not a good day.
I did think he was going to die. So
Courtney, he is possibly one of the best painters who really doesn't get the recognition he really deserves. His stuff is absolutely gorgeous, and some of his tables are insane. His Tau table that, look, we can't break it out anymore because it doesn't work in this edition at all.
Yeah, but it looks so good, dude.
So awesome. And like I don't remember which one of that. I think that was one of the Eldar tables he dove into, and that was a bad day.
Corey, our BA player, didn't maintain alive. He died. So day 2, because I think that hangovers are for neophytes, acolytes, not even acolytes, fucking beginners. I was fine. Daniel played a 20-minute game and then sat behind Trevi's stream like he got shot from a sniper in the fucking rafters and just laid on concrete for 4 hours. PA player had a pulse. He was like, I couldn't find him. Because I didn't think to look down in the corner. I was like, hey, what would Daniel look like if he was homeless? And I was like, right like that, right there. That's how he would look, laying on concrete in a ball next to a wall. Oh my God. He died. The best is I'm showing, hey, this is what we were doing. We were talking, one of my favorites is, and I recognized it right away when Adam and God are touching, the classic art, and it looked like a picture of Linus and I are doing that. He's like way away, but I'm pointing at something because I have never had a conversation ever when I didn't flail my hands around like a psycho. And he's putting his hand up in the background, so we're doing it. He sends it to me, and I go, recreating classic art, and I show Britt. And she looks and she goes, and I didn't even notice because I'm just used to background, whatever. And she's like, is that Daniel with his shirt off, legs spread eagle in the background? I'm like, yes, it is. Exactly, Eloise. Brad, you're too short to look down out of habit. I want everybody to know I measure everyone's height by the inclination of my neck when I look up at your face to talk to you. That's how I figure out how tall you are. Oh,
so how did you not break your neck being friends with Alan?
Oh, dude. Speaking of friends, Anna is, I think, 22 or 23 feet tall because I have to look straight up. It's like looking up an elevator shaft. Oh my gosh, she's so tall. I love everything about that. Kramer, oh, I have a good Kramer story on that. Kramer came up, we were at Armies on Parade a year or two ago. And Kramer, we ordered pizza. We're hanging out because they have to judge you. We're hanging out. He's had some drinks. And he's sitting with a drink in one hand and pizza in the other. And he would take a bite of pizza, fall asleep for like 10 minutes, wake back up, finish chewing his pizza, take a drink of a drink, try to continue whatever he was talking about. And like 3 minutes later, he would pass out again. Then wake up 10 minutes later and take a piece of his pizza. And you're just like... I go, Kramer, how long do you think you've been here? He's like, I just got here, man. I'm eating my piece of pizza. I'm like, it's like 40 minutes later. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I will not forget the year we were like, all right, we need to help Kramer up out of his chair. And you looked at me and I'm like, I'm not that insane.
Yeah. Oh, the MCM where I might have imbibed a few too many drinks. So I knew we were in trouble when I go, Kramer, pop open another bottle for us. And he goes, Brad, we're out. And I go, we had an entire cart of alcohol. He's like, yeah, man, we're out. And I'm like, oh no. And then I just went, let me get ready. Let me assume the crash position and prepare to not be cautious. And then I played 2 more games. So it was good times. Also, if you don't come back from tournaments with stories about the dumb shit you did, you're missing out.
So I actually have to talk about it. Seeing we're talking about fun tournaments, there's a little GT in Erie, Pennsylvania called Wars on the Shore. Really fun. It's at a store. It's a little thing. But in PA, at the gas station across the street, they sell alcoholic slushies. and they come in pint, quart, and half-gallon size.
What?
So we just go over. Not kidding. They come in pint, quart, and half-gallon size. So we all just walk across the street and get a half-gallon of like Bahama Mama slushies, and get trashed on delicious frozen beverages. Play some Warhammer, and then go, oh no, we ran out of slushy, and go back across the street and get a refill. It's fantastic.
Like everything about that. the slushies are legendary. And the thing is like I really want to push. I know we're talking about random drinking things, we're talking about fun things. But one of the things I want to talk about today is supporting your locals. You know what I mean? Making sure you at least show up. I mean, especially if you're going to a Salt City, a Du Bois, or whatever. Even if you can't play the whole tournament, go to your TO. If you can't show up for the whole thing, I'm just speaking for you at this point in time, but like,
that's fine.
Would you hold a place for somebody that says I can only play on day one if you have enough tables and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it just go to the tournaments. The more people, the more money we put into the hobby, the more stuff we can have. I know I'm like a weird guy for banners, for instance. If you give the good TOs, the good tournament organizers, more money, they will treat you right. They will give you more prize support. They will give you more just accoutrements. I don't want more. For me, I don't want more prize support. I want more cool shit at the venue. You know what I mean?
Like I've got Dom from Fabricators Forge making me some props. Hopefully everything comes through in time. Fingers crossed. I know Dom will come through for me. And like one of my big things is I like faction awards, right? All of my faction awards include hobby, right? Because I'm a hobby guy, right? I'm a decent player, but I'm really a hobby guy at heart. I like the whole aspect of the game. So we're giving away, what is there, like 20 plus factions? There's going to be
27. That's crazy.
Yeah, 20. That's why I said 20 plus. Hey, guess what? All those factions are getting an award.
Dude, and I love that shit.
Takes a little bit longer, and you might get a medal and something else, but it's just fun to go, hey, I got this. Why?
It's nice to be acknowledged, man.
Death Guard, and I was the only Death Guard player there. I was the best Death Guard player.
But it doesn't matter with that, because people you're telling people, hey man, I appreciate you coming to my tournament. That's what you're saying in essence. You know what I mean? You're talking. Let's go to the wall real quick, because there's a couple things I do want to give. Always giving Pedro a shout out, because he's really developing his local crew and training them. Guys, if you're the good player, if you're the best guy, you know what I mean? It is your responsibility to get your local players better. It will benefit you in the long run, because playing against better people makes you better, tempered by fire kind of thing. And it'll just be a better time. 100% on that. And then Anna hit the nail on the head. 40 key tournaments are like ordering cheese breadsticks at the bar. Yeah, you eat the breadsticks, play the games, but you were really doing it for the dipping sauce and to soak up the booze, the story. 100%. It's just, if you're not having a good time at a 40K tournament, you have to really go, is this something that I could change? Is the venue something that I shouldn't be at? Am I at a tournament where the clientele is not my type of clientele? You know what I mean? Go to places that give you joy. That's like one of the things that because I go to so many things now, I have to temper with what do I want to go to? What's going to make me the happiest? What am I going to have the most fun at? You know what I mean? What's the best bang for my buck? That's what I look at when I look at 40K tournaments. Is I just want a good time. I want stories. I want to be able to talk, and you don't have to get wasted out of your mind to tell a story. You just have to have a fun story. You have a good time. Did you enjoy yourself? Did you just have fun? And that's what I want to. I don't remember any of my games hardly ever. Unless something crazy happens, I remember absolutely jack shit. I remember karaoke. I remember hanging out. I remember fucking off at Salt City. What was your favorite day? Saturday. If you went, who'd you play on Saturday? I have absolutely no idea. If I had a gun to my head, I would get shot. All I know is I got to hang out, eat some food, and drink with my friends. That's what I want from tournaments, is I want to enjoy the company of other people. I want to sit for 6 hours and go, hey, what did you guys talk about in the last 6 hours? And I'm like, nothing cool. It was all nerd shit. It was fantastic.
Well, it's like I appreciate the person who said I'm the best paint judge ever. I appreciate that for giving me the shout out on that. I'll even give you painting advice, whether you want it or not, if you ask for it. Sometimes one way or the other. But look, I do this and I run events because I care about the community. And if one person out there gets the impression that Brian makes a penny off doing any of this stuff, you're way out of your mind. I do this specifically because I love the game. I love the hobby. I want to give back to the community that supported me and I got to enjoy the time. And I just want everyone to have the experiences that I've had, that Brad's had over the years, where we have fun and enjoy the time. The tournament's kind of secondary in a lot of ways. I like everyone to have a good tournament experience. Don't get me wrong. I kind of stride myself on trying to have a laid back, fun, good tournament. But I want everyone to just, at the end of the day, enjoy the community, enjoy all those people you're with. And like Brad said earlier about building that community, go to your locals. If your local store has RTTs and you're like, oh, I just don't feel like I get the competition there or anything like that, go. Bring silly lists. Have fun. Throw the $10, $20, $30 whatever.
Help those people. That's such a big thing.
Yeah.
Make them better.
And if you're going to your, like, look, every local has the guy who is the local hero, right? He wins most of the tournaments. He's a very good player. If that guy in every game starts bringing a little bit less of a list and then goes, hey, in the game, I'm going to give you some advice. If you're willing to listen to me, I'm going to help you beat me. Because I've watched Brad do this with some of the people that he's been trying to, help along over time. And those little things go a long, long way, because that means in the next couple years, when you still want to be playing this game and having your community grow, those people are still there with you. It's always a good thing.
I love it. Dust opening the crazy list Brad comes up with. Look, sometimes I come up with things that I think might work, and maybe they don't. Holy shit, KR. That's
6 RTT.
Jesus Christ, dude. That is fucking nuts, brother.
I mean, I'm really happy when I get, like, I try to limit my RTTs to like 24 to 30 people, because when you get more than that, then it gets kind of crazy. But it's super fun. And if you're getting 86 for your RTTs, talk to that store owner, talk to that local person and go, hey, let's do a 2-day event.
100%, man. Crazy. You guys do. Denver has crazy. The Denver, what is it? Denver Mountain Trolls. And I don't even remember. What's the other group that you have around you, KR? Whew. AdMax is always expensive. Holy shit. Oh man, thank you so much. I love that night. We had such a good time. Shout out to Max BZ boys. Great time. They had an Airbnb and we just hung out, ate food, chilled out, had some drinks, painted before, because no tournament is complete without someone trying to finish their army the night before. And I don't know, if there wasn't some, I would be sad actually if someone wasn't painting something the night before we have to play. I would actually feel like something's missing. You know what I mean? I love it, man.
If Dave Pasca's at an event and there is not a miniature paint in his hand somewhere, it's a miracle.
What's up, man? Oh, it's the thing is, I don't know. I just love everything about that. I like that last minute, and you shouldn't, but it is a tournament tradition that someone has to have all of their friend group painting a little bit of all of their army. You got to dry brush this. You got to do this. Somebody paint the base of this. I love that aspect of, hey, I need to get some kind of stuff done. I love it. I don't know why, but I love every part of it. It's just funny. So it's a big deal on that. I really, again, support your locals. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, and your locals don't have to be the the one shop right in your town, right? Like if you're in like upstate New York, large community, pretty much an hour and a half drive. There's several different stores, and hey, look, if you can make one tournament a month because you're married, life is in So find a weekend and go to X store 1 month, B store the next month, C store the month after that. Go around, learn your local community, because you'll be surprised at how many people like travel to every tournament every weekend within a couple hours of your home. And you'll get to meet and have a whole bunch of play groups and friends to hang out with, and TTSs and Discords and everything else to get involved in.
It's 1,000%. Just jump in. You meet so many people. I've met people from around the world by playing. I do want to give, before we go, I want to go up to the wall real quick, because John made a great comment. He goes, if you don't have money, offer time. Helping to set up or break down can mean the difference between the TO getting home at 11 or midnight. I'm telling you right now, how happy are you when people just help a little bit, man? I mean, come on.
I can say this, like my locals, because they know I got a bad knee and a lot of stuff. I have to break down all the tables at the end of the night and get everything done. When my locals, who I will give massive shout outs to, who do all this, they break down their table, put their terrain away, get the mats rolled up, get everything ready, and just go, where can we put this stuff? That makes my life so much easier and so much nicer, and makes me appreciate my players so much more. I want them to do even more for them. So, and if you want to help set up for Salt City, Thursday night we'll be up there. If you're in the area, come on down to the room. We can always use help.
Come on down. I'm going to do that class on Thursday, and I would love to hang out with everybody. One of my favorite things that happened last year, we had and I keep saying this is the last thing. Obviously, you've never met me. If you think I'm going to say that's the last thing and not continue to talk. We had a motherfucker of a storm going into last year, and we showed up, and I love the fact that I walked in, and you had contacted us several times about stuff, and I legitimately walked up, and you handed me wine and food, and we're just like, yep, go sit right there, you're good. And I was like, oh, fuck yes, man, my friend's taking care of me. But the thing is that just take care of each other. That's all I'm throwing out there. You help the people that are helping you out. If you want to have a good time, and you want to have a good time consistently, you got to help that good time happen, man. Yep. I'm actually drinking a red blend today because I wanted to be chill. I told you guys I'm going to drink one glass of wine. The fact that a bottle of wine fits in here comfortably and maybe more is not a big deal. It's one glass.
That's just like when you say you're going to have one drink around.
Exactly.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
All of the things. Let's talk about promoting stuff. Everyone, please go to the 40klorecast.com. Helps me out. I love it. I just recorded 2 episodes today. It was fantastic. Finishing Eldar, and I'm about to do the cast for Custodes next. And I'm excited to throw down, because I don't know if there's anybody that has more disparity in the lore than Custodes. From lore to the tabletop, holy shit.
But like for me, I'm going to promote Salt City GT. Of course, that's coming up. thesaltcitygT.com. By all means, sign up. We still have some space for 40K left. We do have a little bit of AOS 4.0 space available, and definitely room for Kill Team and Marvel Crisis Protocol. Come on down. But also, for those of you who know what Du Bois is, duboisgt.com in November. If you're not going to Warhammer Worlds and you don't want to qualify for that, come play in the first qualifier for the 2025.
It's just a really good goddamn
limited
time.
Tickets available, so by all means,
all of the things, some of the stuff, my friends. With that being said, I appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. If you're on my team, I'll see you in about 1.5 minutes when I get on Discord. And until then, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Queenswave.